Hey guys, what's going on? I just want to add the fact real quick that I recorded this video and I didn't realize I wasn't recording my screen, so I had to record it after the fact. So when you see the video, the screen might not match exactly what I'm saying, but nonetheless, enjoy the video. All right, guys, what's going on today? I'm using the face cam today because I felt like it, and I've seen all the big YouTubers use it. So here we go. Got my mic here, and today we're going to be going over the events that happened last night when it comes to UFC Fight Night. Going to go over my predictions, who I picked, my prediction rates, who we got wrong, how we did on everything, and also the Rousey Carano card, everything that happened with that. I posted some shorts on the card, and also Mcgregor is back. Um, I kind of went over the highlights of this. I'm going to go over this last. I'm going to go over the UFC Fight Night because I haven't really talked about that as much. But I got the pick correct. Arnold Allen puts on a masterclass. I knew he was going to be too experienced for Costa. Costa did a really good job. That's the most impressive thing. Costa looked sharp in this. Costa looked extremely sharp in this. He looked like he was in the fight the whole time. He was keeping up with Allen, but Allen's grappling was too much. He pulled reversals on Costa. He did good with the straight jab, right? He had faster hands. He was hitting more shots. Costa could not land his shots. I think at the end of the night, the statistics were, let's take a look here. Let's take a look at the fights. Oh, yeah, and Arnold Allen got a knockdown in the fight. That was crazy. But look at the strikes here. It was a close fight, but it was a masterclass from Arnold Allen. He came out rounds 1 and 2, dominated most of the fight. Round 3 was competitive. Round four and 5 were competitive, but Arnold Allen was just too much for him, and he just kept dominating him every time. And I mean, it was a close fight, but it was one of those fights where Costa looked good, but Arnold Allen was just better on the night. And Costa looks like he could be good at featherweight. He does. He looks like he has some potential. I think he beats most people in like the 10 to 15 spot. I don't. I think you should. We take a look at the rankings right here. Actually, let's go ahead and take a look at UFC featherweight rankings because I'm just kind of curious as because they haven't updated yet. But who does Costa fight next? Because he looked good, and I think he could beat someone like a Patricio Pitbull. I already kind of matched him up. Dude, Costa versus Onama would actually be a sick fight. Pico versus Pitbull is coming up, so can't really do that. But I think Melquizael Costa should fight David Onama next. I think that's a good fight, especially considering that he's coming off a win. He could fight Brian Ortega, for all we know. You know what I mean? That would also be a decent fight. I could see Costa. I could see that being a good fight. But Brian Ortega, I think, is moving up to lightweight, so we'll see. As for Arnold Allen, I mean, he just comes off a close fight against Silva, and I'm glad Arnold Allen gets it done because he's really good and really underrated. And I think he should fight. I think he should fight Lerone Murphy next. I think Arnold Allen versus Lerone Murphy, with Lerone Murphy coming off that disgraceful loss against Mazar Evloev, that was a shit fight in itself. Dude, Arnold Allen should fight um, Lerone Murphy next. That would be a good matchup, good hardcore matchup. Going back to the fight night, though. Yeah, I got my camera. Okay, that's much better. So Costa, I mean, Allen wins it. We get this pick right. And I also got Doo Ho Choi. Doo Ho Choi has looked so sharp. I didn't get to watch this live, unfortunately. I went downstairs real quick. I had to run some errands, but I was keeping up with the fight, and I came back and saw the knockout. Dude, Doo Ho Choi looks sharp, man. He looks like he could be a serious, like, he looks like he could probably be ranked. So I think he should fight up in the rankings next. I think he's due. I think he's coming off. This is his third win in a row. I want to say, and this was an impressive win. It was a close fight up until that point, but it was a really good fucking fight too. It was kind of quite a war. But Doo Ho Choi's hands were too fast. He was able to stuff all the takedowns. As you can see here, he stuffed 6 of the takedowns, which is pretty damn impressive. And Doo Ho Choi looks like he's on top of his game. I didn't watch all these fights. I was more focused on the Netflix card. I'm a big UFC fan. UFC is first. I'm really glad that Netflix card did well though because UFC needs a true competitor, and that's what they're getting with the Netflix card. I mean, a lot of people were interested in the Netflix card. I knew everyone watching, like from people I know, people have been watching the Netflix card, but no one's been like, "Oh, I'm tuning into Costa Allen." Like, as a hardcore fan myself, I was switching back and forth, and I was having a great time with the night. But most of the people I know who are all casuals were watching the Rousey and Ngannou fight. You know what I mean? Which I was too. Ngannou committed murder, which we'll talk about later. And then Malcolm Wellmaker. This is so disappointing because I picked him at Wellmaker here, and I thought he was going to get it done, but I just don't know. Like, who is this Juan Diaz guy? He just comes out of nowhere. Does he even have any fights in the UFC? I think this was his UFC debut, I want to say. I could be right. He doesn't have that many fights in the UFC, though. I thought this was going to be kind of a toss-up win for him. Yeah, this was his second fight. The first one was last year, too. It was on the Dana White Contender Series, and it was by that spinning elbow. I remember watching that one live whenever I was watching it. I didn't know this was this guy. I mean, that was a year ago. That's crazy. I did know that was this guy, but I didn't think he was that good to be able to submit Malcolm Wellmaker, who's a phenom. Like, what the fuck is going on with this? MMA gonna make? I swear to God, MMA makes no goddamn sense. Dakauskas gets it done. I don't know how he took this guy to decision. This guy's pretty shit. I thought Modestas Dakauskas could have finished this via submission or knockout or something like that, but it was just a catch weight, middleweight slop fest. I'm going to kind of speed through these because we got a lot to go over, but I got this pick right. I think I haven't tallied up all the picks yet. I'll post on what exactly all my picks were, but I think I was around 70 to 80% on prediction rates. I did pretty well on the UFC Fight Night. We're going through it here, and then I did decent on the Netflix card. Kawamba gets it. Kawamba fumbles against Sapaj here. Sapaj is good, though. I've been keeping up with Sapaj. I think he's going to be a decent little bantamweight prospect. He maybe makes it in the rankings, but gets it done via second-round submission. I picked him. I picked Vretnikov here. I didn't think he'd lose to a fucking first-round KO, but whatever. Dog shit fight. I'm just pissed because I got my fucking payroll. But prelims, moving on. Tuco Tacos fails me. This was a thrown fight, by the way. This was a rigged fight. Tuco's Tacos doesn't lose fight. If you know ball, you know Tuco's Tacos is actually like top 10, top 5 heavyweights in the world. Or I'm sorry, light heavyweights in the world. He should maybe he's blob maxing at light heavyweight low key. He might as well just move up to a heavyweight at this point. But he fumbles against Ivan Erslan. Dumb pick in my opinion. I just believed in Tuco Tacos. I picked him for the fucking memes, honestly. Tommy Gant looks sharp. Tommy Gant is a prospect to look out for in lightweight division. I could see him being like top 10, top 15, some here in the future. And he beat an undefeated fighter, which is not really saying much. He's 7-0. I don't even think that guy. Let's see how many fights this guy had in the UFC. But nonetheless, Tommy Gant comes off and he's looking sharp. He looked good. He gets it done. His stand-up looks sharp. His takedowns look impressive. And if you look at the stats here, I mean, it wasn't even close. He basically 3-1'd them on fucking strikes. And 4-1'd them on significant strikes. Lands a lot of takedowns. His cardio looked great. This dude was stuffing a few of the takedowns. He wasn't bad, but, you know, whenever you're facing against two newer prospects, it's kind of hard to keep up with, you know, where they are skill-wise. But let me look at Artur Minev's record again. Because I can't remember all this shit all the time. Now, that was his UFC debut, so, I mean, we don't know how good Artur Minev is for real. And we don't really... I'm based off the eye test, Tommy Gant looks like he could be a serious problem in the lightweight division. I don't know how far he can go, but I think he might be able to crack the rankings at some point, like 15, 14 spot. Caitlin Vera, this was I get this pick right. I went against Cody Brundage here, and I shouldn't have. I felt like fucking Cody Brundage was going to win, but I just can't trust Brundage to win fights that I pick him on. Like, Brundage is like the most inconsistent fighter. Sometimes he'll look like a decent prospect. Other times he'll look like the most dogshit fighter in the UFC. But maybe he's improving. Who fucking knows? Cut Andre for fucking Petrosky from the sport. Entertaining, sure, but he's so dogshit, dude. How do you lose to fucking Cody Brundage? Caitlin Vera, this was a boring-ass fight. Women's slop fest, but good performance from Caitlin Vera. She just won it off. Takedowns, basically. Or control time, and... It's women's MMA, bro. It's boring as shit. I'm not going to pretend like I watch that shit. Super fucking invested. I'm not sitting there taking notes on fucking women's MMA. Honestly, like, I was surprised that fucking Rousey Rousey Carano finish as quick as it did. Rousey gets finishes, but I mean, I'm pretty sure like the finishing rate in women's MMA is like 15%. It's dog shit. And, speaking of women's finishes, Alice Ardeline actually gets it done against Polly Viana. I said this one for sure. Polyana Viana fucking sucks. I mean, good win, good submission. Alice Ardine's hot. These girls are actually kind of both hot. Polly Viana is a little mid. She just has tattoos. She has an Naruto tattoo too. That's actually pretty cool. But Alice Hardin, stop looking at me like that. There were some jiggles going on in the cage, if you know what I mean. This was fight of the night, in my opinion. Garul versus Perez. Flyweight fucking war. I'm glad I watched this. Super, super good fight. These flyweights go to war. In the third round, they threw like 50 strikes each. It was a crazy third round. Garul gets it done, and he looks good in this fight. Perez took it to him in defense, but I mean, look at these numbers. You know what I mean? Yeah, I want to see these numbers in a fucking welterweight championship fight. How about that? But no, we get it on these fucking two flyweights, probably fighting for 20 and 20 on a fight night. And while they're playing the Netflix card too, no one's watching that shit except for like all hardcores, and they should have, because that fight right there was more entertaining and more competitive than pretty much every other fucking fight. And I turned this main event on in the middle with my family while I'm watching this shit with my family because they want to watch the Netflix card. But I'm like, watch the UFC card. I turn on Doo Ho Choi KOing and getting the win. And they're like, oh shit. And then Arnold Allen comes out right before the Rousey fight, and I swear to God, dude, Dana White is the most petty bastard I've ever met. I just want to say that. He announced UFC 329, Conor versus Max 2, right as Ngannou was walking out, dog. And I'm like, dude, he 100% did that shit on fucking purpose. Dana White's bitch ass. Dana White, I just want to say I think Dana White's terrible for the fucking sport. I don't know if y'all saw the way he promoted it, but he's like, got the fucking dad double chin. Yeah, we got main event, Conor versus, and he's at the fucking apex, and he couldn't even be bothered to this is the biggest star in the sport. I understand why he does this for some bullshit fight nights or a pay-per-view every once in a while. I can give you like an excuse for that. But dude, if you're the face of the company, this is your biggest fucking star. Like, what the hell are we doing with the UFC, bro? This is the biggest star in the entire sport, and you're sitting there cut Dana White from the fucking sport, dude. You'd probably be better off without him. I think Shauna Bannon is incredibly attractive, and I thought she was winning this fight up until this point. If you couldn't tell from the fucking strikes, I thought she was gonna get this shit done, and then fumbles the bag and just fucking gets a submission. I guess we gotta cut Shauna Bannon now, even though she's Shauna Bannon. If you get cut from the UFC, you can marry me. That's not sure I got a girl, but moving on. Rousey demolishes another can. Congratulations, Ronda Rousey. You beat Gina Carano in 15 seconds. This was not the biggest pay-per-view of all time. This was a high-level matchup right here, and I'm so happy I watched this instead of Netflix advertisements. This was one of the most high-level featherweight fights I've seen in a while. This was so much higher level than fucking Lerone versus Movzar. It's so ironic. You'd expect a fight like this from Lerone and Movzar. But Lerone and Movzar looked like they were, had 20 pounds of water drenching down on them the entire time they were fighting. And they both looked like they were injured and they're gun shy. And they just, Volk destroys both of them. Like I think the Arnold Allen that we saw gives Volk a tough fight, but Volk still beats him. And the featherweight division is heating up right now. I think there's some good prospects. It was slow for a while, and I didn't have a lot of faith in the featherweight division. But I think things are starting to pick up in the featherweight division. But going back to Rousey versus Carano, yeah, congratulations to Ronda Rousey. She crushes another can, even though I like Gina Carano and I really wanted her to win. Somehow I figured maybe, they both had enough ring rust. I figured going into this, I was like, okay, Ronda's got enough ring rust to where maybe, she can't submit fucking Gina Carano in first round, and she can take her in deep waters, and Carano can maybe somehow start a striking exchange because, you know, Rousey is still utter dog shit at striking. So we'll see it. I was hopeful, but look at the strikes, dude. Look at the strikes. 0 strikes thrown on both sides. And Carano, you couldn't even stuff 1 takedown. Rousey just had to end it in 1. How are you that so much of a sore winner, dude? I think this fight was rigged, and I think Rousey just knew she was going to demolish her or something. But like, really, you're just gonna. I'm not the biggest Ronda Rousey fan. I think she's a great athlete. I think what she did for the sport was phenomenal. And as far as what judo she did, she was amazing. Also, Kayla Harrison. I just want to say Kayla Harrison fucking destroyed Ronda Rousey in wrestling. That's a real fucking UFC champ. Even though she's kind of boring. You know, I called him. If you watch my video, also I got the Rousey pick right, and I also got this pick right. I did really well on the main cards on this. Mike Perry, for those of you who don't know and haven't been keeping up with the Twitter, beat the dog shit. Literally beat the dog shit. Or just the shit out of Nate Diaz. And, you know, there are casuals in my family who are like, why didn't Nate get up off the stool and go a third round? They're pretending like they're Nate fans. Do you not have a fucking care in the world for Nate Diaz? Nate Diaz would have gotten murdered if he went in on the third round. Nate Diaz looked like his face was falling off at the end of the second. And Mike Perry looked like he was having mercy on him. I'm going to be so real. It looked like he was having mercy upon him. I want to make sure. I'm just going to check it. Okay, cool. I just want to check if I'm recording. Never too safe, I suppose, right? But yeah, he gets it done via round 2 doctor stoppage. My bad about going ADHD. I'm still used to this YouTube thing, so keeping all my rants formatted is a little hard. But I'm going to be making another rant video about Yair fucking Rodriguez and how he needs to be cut from the sport, and Dana White, and just the problems with the UFC in fucking general. That video is coming soon, and I'm going to fucking rant my ass off on that. But Nate Diaz should not be fighting. If you are in Nate Diaz's circle, you need to tell him to never fucking fight again. Also, the strikes are 0 on this for some reason, too. I don't know why. ESPN, get your fucking shit together. The strikes were genuinely 0 on Carano and Rousey. That's why I said that. But yeah, Nate Diaz, he comes out in the first, and he's like trying to jab him and everything. He's throwing that flimsy jab, and he's landing a little bit. But Mike Perry looks like he's sparring out there almost, and he's just cracking Nate with shots. Nate Diaz actually did hit a nasty judo toss on him, but Mike Perry got right back up from him. I don't think he really expected it, but Nate Diaz was trying to land some takedowns in the first round, but Mike Perry was way bigger. He just got up from him, and why does Mike Perry look like a fucking meth head? Like, I love Mike Perry, but dude, like, he's smiling with that fucking faux walk he's going on, and like with his mouthpiece, and I'm just like, man, BKFC king and local crackhead at your fucking local American Top Team. I swear, dude, I train at American Top Team sometimes. I actually train there frequently, but sometimes there will be this guy in there, and he's literally just a crackhead who just tries to learn how to fight. And I just wonder how many local MMA crackheads there are in the world sometimes. Francis Ngannou, I posted a short about it. Go check it out. Also, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out a lot. I'm trying to gain some traction with this MMA stuff. I'm really passionate about it. It really helps me out a lot. So, I said last night, why does Felipe Lins look like a high school quarterback? He looks like a high school football quarterback. He looks like that one kid who's like a senior, but he's like a super senior. And he's like 19, but somehow he looks fucking 35 years old. I don't know if you guys had that in your high school, but where you just, everyone knows that guy who looks 35, so you just get him to buy alcohol for you, and he doesn't get ID'd because he looks like he's 35. Anyway, Francis Ngannou fucking murdered him. I didn't see Felipe Lins wake up. I'm just going to be real. I didn't watch it long enough, but in my visual, I did not see Felipe Lins wake up. Felipe Lins went out. Like, out. With an overhand left, I think it was, and it hit the temple and it crossed over his skull, and he just went out bad. Moving on, Parnas either needs to fight again on a Netflix card, or this was the best fight on the card, by the way. This was like the most. This was kind of like an evenly matched card because Kenneth Cross looked like he knew what he's doing. And Kenneth Cross is good, but Parnas I knew was going to win. I called this one as well. I've gotten all these fights right on the Netflix card. But Parnas, he gets it done. His striking looks great. And Kenneth Cross decides to impose his will with the wrestling, Parnas just Granby rolls, gets the back, gets his get-ups, actually engages in Kenneth Cross. And then I think he won by TKO against the Fate. It was body shots. It was the shovel hooks. He finished it with like a shovel hook to the body, and then he had like another combination up top, like a 2 or 3 piece combination up top. But he was already crumbled from the body shot against the fence. He just crumbled from a body shot. It was a really good fight. For how long it lasted, like they were both active. Kenneth Cross was, making his best to survive. I think Kenneth Cross could be decent based off what we saw of him, but Parnas looks like he's UFC level. Based off the eye test, as Lucas Tracy would call it, Parnas looks like he could be UFC level. I would like to see him fight in the UFC, actually, and matching him up like someone against Bobby Green or some shit. And this is in the lightweight division. He'd probably cook in the UFC lightweight division. I'd be interested to see how he'd do. Moving on. JDS, rest in peace. Rebellis to Spain was way fucking bigger than him. I thought JDS was going to get a takedown and, maybe hold him down and everything like that. But Rebellis to Spain just hits him with like a nasty 3-piece. And he's like fucking so long. So he's just like, his arms are bent like this. And he just hits him with a fucking combination from like 2 feet out. He can't even react before his hands get to him, and he just puts him to fucking sleep. It was a nasty, like 3 or 4 piece combination. I'll probably post about on a short later. I called this Namo Fazil. Looks like the off-brand Indian Jake Paul. He gets it done via Darce choke. He looked decent too. Moving on again, Marias via rear naked choke in the last seconds of the round. Nakuda just couldn't last one more second, I guess. I don't fucking know. Why couldn't he just go one more second? I guess it was really in, but I called Marias to win. Jason Jackson looked really fucking good and just comes out and TKOs him. Or not TKOs. Yeah, KOs him in the first round. Jason Jackson, welterweight. I'd be interested to see Jason Jackson fight again, truthfully. He looked really... it was an impressive win, but he was just crushing a can at the end of the day, so who knows really how well he is. The Morales brother did not get his win. David Miag? McGoyan? David McGoyan. I'm going to go with that. Forgive me, I'm American and dumb as fuck. And then Mason Wong loses to Aileen Pereira. I'm glad Pereira's sister got the win. Is that actually... People have been telling me that's Alex Pereira's sister, but is she really? Yeah, that is Alex Pereira's sister. Very interesting, but she's mid as hell. She's 3-2, and it was 2-2 before this fight. So Brendan Jinkson gets it done. I called him winning as well. Moving on, we're so fucking back, dude. All right, with this fight, I'm just gonna be real, bro. Conor McGregor destroys. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. Max Holloway melts Conor. This is how I see the fight going down. Conor is going to look fantastic like the first 2.5 minutes of the fight. He's going to have that wide karate stance. He's going to be pawing the fucking lead hook or lead left, or not lead left, back left, to try to get the cross out and land big on Max. And then Max is going to land a lead leg stomp. He's going to land a body shot. Connor's going to land like a grazing cross and then a spinning kick that partially lands or some shit. And then Max lead leg stomps again, jab, jab, and then Max builds. And then builds in the first round. Connor's getting a little gassed, getting a little uncomfortable, and he's going to wilt in the second round. And he's just going to get destroyed by Max Holloway. Conor McGregor has every single advantage in this fight, and he will still lose. He's fighting at 170. He's just got sauced up. It's a 5-year layoff. He's going to be bigger than Max. He's probably going to have a reach advantage. I haven't looked at it yet. And knowing the UFC, they're probably going to let him sauce up. And Max is just going to be a 155er who's not cutting weight. But Max is smart, so I could see him also. Prime for prime, I wouldn't pick McGregor against Max Holloway. Especially this Max Holloway. Say what you will about Max Holloway. He's my favorite fighter. My camera's shaking because my cat is... My cat, I have to pet him because he's nudging my computer and wants attention. But say what you will about Max Holloway losing that fight to Charles Oliveira. Other than Charles Oliveira and Ilya, he hasn't lost anyone. And Volk, of course, but he survived 5 rounds with Charles Oliveira on his back. Bro. Of all the things that my cat can rub his face on, it has to be my computer while I'm recording. Come here. I know. He's going to sit on my lap while I take the video, I guess. But McGregor he's not been in the game for 5 years. What do you expect of him? He's been doing cocaine and steroids and partying. And let's not pretend like he probably is not going to pull out a fight. He's already pulled out the Chandler fight. Someone check on Michael Chandler, by the way. I'm pretty sure he's on suicide watch after this. He's going to get slimed out on the White House card, and then he's going to watch McGregor and Holloway the next month. The UFC schedule is insane, by the way. We just had UFC 328, which was a fantastic card. Fight Night Netflix just happened. MMA in general. We might get a Netflix card after that one. Even though the arena was empty, which is really odd. And then, I'm sorry, I pet my cat and I lost my train of thought. UFC 328, the Netflix card, the UFC Fight Night. The next month we get the fucking White House card. And then after that, we get Conor Max. And I just started my MMA YouTube channel, and this was the perfect time. But McGregor is going to lose in the second round, and no one can convince me otherwise. I see all these casuals like, oh, Conor's back. He's going to get it done. And Max is washed because he lost to Charles Oliveira. Didn't get submitted, even though he submitted Mateusz Kamrat in the fucking second round on short notice, and then couldn't submit Max Holloway even though he was on his back. I think Max did well in retrospect. He just got out-wrestled in a BMF fight. He wasn't expecting it. I'm not going to cope for him. I'm a big Max Holloway fan. Yuri Prohaska and Max Holloway are probably my 2 favorite fighters. And then we got the battle of the fucking Stone Age nitwits over here. Are you okay, bro? We got the battle of the fucking cavemen over here. Paddy versus Benoit. Benoit might have more power on the feet. Paddy's longer and rangier. The scrambles in this fight are going to be insane. I don't know who wins it. Also, Robert Whittaker needs to be above Gable Stevenson on this card, and if he's not, that's bullshit. That's a number that I heard Bedtime say this. That's a good way to get fucking Gable Stevenson hated by the fans, by putting him over Whittaker and doing that same shit you did with Bo Nickel. But at least when Bo Nickel fucking did it, he at least had some fights in the UFC. So we'll see how that goes. I'll do a further breakdown and prediction another time. But Sandhagen versus Bautista is a fantastic fight. Sandhagen coming off that loss and Bautista coming off a fantastic win against Vinicius Oliveira. But I just don't see him getting it done against someone like Sandhagen, who's a big step up. Ow. My cat's claws are digging into me. Gable Stevenson's going to crush this guy. Brandon Royval versus Loner Kavanaugh is a banger. I don't know who wins that one yet either. Brandon Royval could be cooked. But we've seen, Loner Kavanaugh lose to Brandon Royval, but he's gotten better since then. So it's a close fight, and it's entertaining. That needs to be above Gable Stevenson and Elijah Ellison as well, because who the fuck is Elijah Ellison also? Penis is going to finish inside Caesar. Oh, I'm sorry. Penis is going to finish Caesar inside 3. Gandra versus Zach Reese. Who the fuck are those people? Cody Durden is going to fight Ode Osborne. That's actually a good fight. Ode Osborne is going to be fighting at 125, which is odd because he's kind of already a big bantamweight. I'm kind of interested to see how he does with that. Cody Garbrandt versus Adrian Yanez is a good fight, but Adrian Yanez is going to get it done because he's not a dumbass like Cody Garbrandt is. Kai Kamaka Feet 3 is a made-up person who's going against Luke Riley to get slimed out. And Robert Whitaker is going to sauce up Nikita Krylov on the feet. And Cortez and Colin Wang are going to be jiggling around the cage. And I'm going to be pretend to focus on MMA for 15 minutes because they're going to go to decision. And I hope Tracy Cortez can win because I don't want Tracy Cortez to get cut from the fucking sport. That's it. Going into these predictions, it was I'd kind of rush over everything. But going back into this Rousey fight, I hope they do another Netflix card. Match some of these fighters up again before they get signed to the UFC, because the UFC is going to fucking snatch these guys unless they get them booked again. I don't know what kind of contract they have them under. I saw the pay amounts. Felipe Lins only got paid $100,000 to get slimed out and murdered and probably paralyzed from the shoulders down by fucking Francis Ngannou. I'm going to check on the state of Felipe Lins after that fight. And I'm pretty sure Ronda versus Carano looked low-key rigged because they just made the easiest $3 million each of their lives. And then the matchups potential here, Allen needs to fight Marone next, and Costa needs to fight someone in that 15 to 10 range, probably like Brian Ortega, if he doesn't move up to lightweight. Or David Onama, I think, is a good fight for him. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know who you think wins on these matchups. MMA Messiah out. They call me the Messiah for a fucking reason. I did hella good on these picks. Believe it or not. Believe me. If you want to win some money, listen to me. Straight the fuck up. And I'm American. I'm on these American times. And I'm going to upload more than Lucas Tracy. Keep up with me. Like and subscribe to the channel. I love this sport. I want to bring more of it to you. You guys have a blessed day. Stay safe.